Well, hello everybody, welcome to Jeff's baking blog. Today I'm going to be making some individual berry pies or summer fruit pies, and I'm going to be using a combination of strawberry, raspberry, blackberry and blueberry, but you can use any combination you want basically. I'm going to make these with a shortcrust pastry and try to do a free-form tart. So hopefully that will work out well. Fairly basic ingredients: flour, butter, lard, egg yolk, water for the pastry, the berries, some corn flour or cornstarch, and a little bit of sugar for the filling, and then egg white to brush over the top. So for the pastry I have 350 grams of flour, and I have 80 grams of lard and 80 grams of butter unsalted, which I've chopped into chunks, and this is chilled just out of the fridge. I'm just going to coat those with the flour, and I also have the yolk from 2 medium eggs, that would be large in the USA, and I have some ice cold water ready to add a tablespoon at a time to bring the pastry together. So having coated them with flour, the cubes of butter and lard with flour, I'm just going to cut those into the flour with this pastry cutter until we get a breadcrumb or a rough breadcrumb like texture. Doesn't matter if there will be a few little larger lumps of the lard or butter left, but you want it mainly broken down. You could do this in a food processor, just pulse it, but you don't want to overwork it, that's the thing. So that's worked reasonably well. There's still a few little chunky pieces of butter and lard, but that doesn't really matter. So then what I'm going to do is take the butter, the water out of the fridge, and I'm going to pour the egg yolk into the flour, and I'm also going to put in a couple of tablespoons of the water, and then I'm just, with a knife for the time being, I'm just going to start to stir that to bring it together. And as it starts to come together, you just need to add as much water as is necessary that you start to get some big clumps. And with that mixed, I'm just going to cut it a little bit more with the pastry cutter to make sure that all the flour gets some of the egg mixed into it. So we'll add about another tablespoon of water. As you can see, it's beginning to clump up. I'm just going to add half a tablespoon. And then I'll put my hands in and see how it comes together. Pull that out onto my work surface so I can work it into a ball. But you just want to work this enough that it all comes together. You don't want to overmix short crust pastry. Then I'm going to break it in half because I want to chill this in the fridge, and I'm going to chill it in 2 packs so that I can leave one in the fridge while I'm dealing with the other one. Okay, so that's good enough, and then I'm going to wrap them in plastic wrap and chill them for 30 minutes. So I'll be back with you. I'll put these in the fridge. I'll be back with you in 30 minutes and we'll roll them out. So while our pastry's chilling, we'll just mix our fruit. So in here I have my 1 kilogram of raspberries, blueberries, strawberries which I've cut up, and blackberries. And I'm going to sprinkle onto that 50 grams of sugar. I've tasted some of these and I know that they're quite tart. And I'm going to also sprinkle on 3 tablespoons of corn flour. And then I'm just going to stir them all together so that all the fruit is coated. It's particularly important to get it coated with the corn flour, because that will absorb the juice as they cook, or absorb some of the juice as they cook. So that's the berries mixed with the corn flour and sugar. So I set that to one side, and I'll be back with you when the pastry has chilled, and at that time I will also have preheated my oven to 100 180 Celsius. That's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And I will have a couple of baking trays ready to put the pies on. Right, well, I'm back with you, and I have the oven preheating. I've taken the first piece of pastry out of the fridge, and I'm actually going to cut that into 4 and set 3 pieces aside and cover it with a cling film again. And I've floured this work surface and the rolling pin, and I'm going to roll this out into a rough circle. Until it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. And then what I'm going to do is take some of the fruit and put it into the middle, making sure that I've got some of each type of fruit. In there, like that. And then I'm actually just going to use some water to brush the pastry a little bit, and I'm going to pull that up and fold it over, pinching it together with itself. Just like that. And then I may put just a little bit more fruit in there. And I'm going to place that onto my baking tray. And do the same with the remainder. So there I have 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just brush the pastry with the egg white and then maybe sprinkle a little bit of granulated sugar on the pastry as well. I have some preserving sugar here, so I'm just going, that's rather chunky, so I'm just going to put a few little flakes on. Or granules, should I say. So then they're ready to go into the oven, these 4, and I'm going to bake them for 30 to 35 minutes until the pastry is nice and cooked, and I'll take them out and bake the next set. I'll let them cool on the tray for a few minutes before transferring them to a rack to cool completely. then I'll come back and show you the results. Well, I'm back with you, and I've baked our individual berry pies. I actually baked 8 and I broke one. The 8 came out of the oven and they were cooling down, and I lifted my baking and my wire rack to look underneath to see that the underside was cooked while they were still warm. I should have just let them cool down, and one slid off and smashed onto the counter and on the floor. So I've only got 7, but as you can see, they are baked underneath. Some juice has come out of the berries, whoops, on the top there, but that's fine. And so let's have a taste. Yeah, that is very, very good. That was a blackberry. Have one more little bite. It's very nice. That lovely juicy summery fruit and the nice rich flaky short crust pastry go very well together. Well, I had a slight hiccup with the camera there. So I was going to say I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen, as always, I would put a link so that you can get to my blog and see the recipe, and I'll also put that link below the video. And I will be back with you in the very near future with another video. So until then, happy baking.